What up, what up, what up? I'm Jake.
I'm Jim.
Welcome to Secret Hideout, place where we talk you can't bring to the dinner table.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. Jim, give him that smoke.
Check us out on Instagram at Secret Hideout Podcast. Make sure you go to that YouTube channel because we now have all the episodes going up there, and we're going to clip them up and put them up there every week. So check it out at Secret Hideout Podcast. Like, subscribe, all that jazz until we get taken off probably on this episode.
And we're going to start a TikTok too.
Yeah.
Soon.
TikTok.
Some of these clips.
Some dance videos and stuff. Dude, I can't wait.
Yeah, dance videos.
Yeah. If you guys see, we got Enzo here again.
What's up, everybody?
Oh, shit. It's Enzo.
Enzo from 3 episodes ago. I think it was episode 48. You should check that out, though, because we had a really awesome conversation that time. But we brought him back because it was a good fucking time.
Yeah, it was a good one. I actually got the courage to come back up here, after everything we talked about last time. No, I was. I had a blast. So.
He was fucking texting us. He started a group chat right after, and Enzo's just been blowing it up with like fucking a bunch of shit.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not allowed to read it at work.
No.
Yeah, I was wondering why I never like see any responses from Jake. I'm like, maybe he's got like a work phone or something.
No, I'm just not good at like responding on text
or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I read everything. I just don't respond
I'm glad.
much.
That's why.
And we don't agree with it.
Hey,
first things first is we don't agree with it at all. Like it's just speculation and we don't know what it is, but no, it's all fun stuff though. It really is. Yeah. But we want to hit some hot pop culture. I do want to touch on a little thing that we kind of talked about on your last episode was Apocalypto.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's get into Apocalypto.
Did you watch Apocalypto?
Yeah, I did. I actually just watched it a couple days ago, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apocalypto, if you don't know, is Mel Gibson's movie.
Mel Gibson.
I think it might have been his first or second. I think it was second. I think he did Passion of the Christ and then Apocalypto. But what'd you think of it?
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was pretty interesting. Mel Gibson, he obviously touches on a lot of like not difficult topics, but he goes deeper than just what meets the eye. And I was telling you, like, there's a scene in the movie where the one tribe comes and takes the other tribe as slaves, and there's this one guy in the movie, and he is like a warrior, and he, they're all like, in the beginning they're making fun of him because he can't, get his wife pregnant, he can't give his wife kids. And then Mel Gibson does this scene where when they come and they take his wife away, it's like all about that, that particular warrior and the kind of like self-doubt he's going through of like what's happening with his wife. And it was just a good movie. I mean, that's actually not even the plot at all, but I mean, I just enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. And all those like societal like underlying tones in the movie that could be obviously, I mean, they could be put onto today even.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting how like in the city, like you see all the like tribesmen and the tribes people like outside of the city, and then it's like as soon as they go into the city, like where the Mayan temples are and everything, everyone pretty much looks like a modern day liberal. Basically, they're all just like all the guys are like wearing all this like makeup, everything's like extravagant and totally like flamboyant and stuff, and it just goes to it like reminded me just kind of like
actual big cities.
Yeah, kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they like they went from the boondocks to LA, exactly. Like it's like going that culture change, or Manhattan, or any big city. Like they were, I think we talked about it last time, was the fact that those tribes had no idea of any of that existing in their world. Like outside of their world, they probably had heard legends of it and shit like that, but they had no idea of like Tenochtitlan or whatever the hell that was. It probably wasn't Tenochtitlan, that was Aztecs, but whatever, like a huge mega city where they're sacrificing people. So they had no idea that was going on, and yet they were enslaved into it.
Yeah. Did you notice how like one of the things Mel did was like when they got into the city, there was the eclipse,
Yeah.
right? And they were like, it showed the people on top of the pyramid, and it showed like the king, right, sitting there, and then his spokesperson, and they were doing all the dance and stuff. And then when the eclipse happened, everybody stopped and was like looking up at it, right? And then you see the guy, the guy putting on the show, he like stops and he like turns and looks at the king, and they kind of like smile at each other, right?
Yeah.
And it's because they know about the eclipse.
Yeah. Like
You
they're
know?
about to
They're playing.
trick everybody.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They just tricked everybody.
Yeah,
So he's kind of, Mel Gibson showing that that's what the elites are doing.
for sure.
It's just tricking the masses for their agenda.
Very comparable to some of the things that like not we, but everyone's kind of talking about in this day and age, with people being tricked. Certain things are being told as truth, other things are not. And
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not we don't know where the fact lies.
Yeah.
We're always looking for the fact and trying to figure that out, but the ones at the top know that they're just pulling the puppet strings of everything.
Yeah. So it was a good movie. I actually thought it was going to be more brutal, to be honest with you. I mean, there was like a couple parts, but I was like gearing up for it to be like super intense before I watched it, because that was why I hadn't seen it in the past. I'm like, this movie's about to be just like all about like
Human sacrifice.
yeah, human sacrifice, but it wasn't. So it was cool.
It's not an Eli Roth movie.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, he did one of those. What was that movie called? It was the Green
something.
Soylent Green?
Jungle or something.
Green something. Yeah, it was supposed to be
Wasn't
about
good.
like some people that got kidnapped by
Their
a
plane
tribe.
crashes in like the rainforest, and they get kidnapped by a cannibalistic tribe,
Okay.
and they all get eaten.
But yeah, so you dug Apocalypto.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to. I didn't know if I was going to come back on right away, but I figured I would watch it, especially since I sent you guys so much content. I was like, I'd be kind of a dick if I didn't at least like look into, one of the things that they were telling me about.
Well,
so.
you have the luxury of working from home.
Yeah.
So like that luxury
Yeah.
of like being able to dive into anything is there. Like Jake and I are, at location,
Yeah.
like grinding all day. I can like sneak off into the bathroom and look at my phone and shit. So it's like you have that. I wonder, like, do you like that? Do you like working from home?
It's good and bad, because some days, I mean, I like it in some ways, because like I wake up in the morning and I make my coffee, start working, and I have like podcasts going or other things going on in the background, and I like it because there's really no one like looking over your shoulder, and I'm kind of on my own time, and it eliminates the commute. But sometimes, I'm not gonna lie to you, like after 3 or 4 days where you're like, okay, literally all I did today was like wake up and like walk to my office, and I just like started working, and I just spent all day in my pajamas. Like after so many days of that, you start to go a little like, you get a little crazy, you want to like get out of the house. And so it's good and bad. I mean, I miss like sort of the routine of normal life, whereas now it's like, okay, literally now I'm spending like 80% of my days or 90% of my days like in my condo.
Yeah.
So
that's where they want you.
pretty much.
Like that's where it's moving to.
Yeah.
But we did kind of slide off on pop culture a little bit. But did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about culture wise?
Enzo just also watched the Matrix.
Oh yeah,
trailer.
and we talked about that heavy in the last episode.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of the Matrix in general?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I really liked. I was listening to you guys. Didn't like number 2 that much. It seemed like, whereas number 2,
I liked 2. I didn't like the effects.
Yeah, number 2
graphics.
was my favorite one, and then number 3, I just was like, okay, this is getting to be crazy now.
Number 3 felt like I didn't hate number 3 by any means, but like it felt very like Star Wars or something to me.
Yeah, like how they're flying around and battling, like reminding me of Dragon Ball Z.
They're in like Zion more in that one,
I think I've only seen the third one once, to be honest. I think I watched it and I was like, I don't know.
So how did you feel about the new trailer?
Well, it's like a lot of the same things that you guys said. It just seems like they're trying to recreate something that was made obviously in a different era. They're using different technology, like you guys were saying. They don't use film and stuff like that anymore, and so that way what doesn't look as like gritty. But for me, it's just like, I just don't want them to turn it into a social justice type thing. Like I just want a movie about the Matrix, and I want it like good action scenes and like a plot that makes you think. And I don't want them to do what they did with like Star Wars or some of these other movies where they just go above and beyond to sort of like push an agenda or to add specific characters or specific roles to fit like a quota.
Okay.
That's what I don't want to happen.
So what did the trailer make you feel though? Did it make you feel like that's what they're gonna do?
I mean, I wasn't like
not?
Honestly, I didn't think that until you said, "Oh, they're gonna like make Neo basically transition into this next Matrix, or like the one will be like a woman, and then it'll be the next few like Matrix episodes." But other than that, I didn't really feel that way. It's just I could see that happening because that's just the way everything's going.
Did you think it was sick though the first time you watched it?
It was all right. I like saw like that they tried to do the whole like it's like Keanu Reeves first, like Neo's first time again in the Matrix. He's like looking around, everyone else is like on their cell phones and stuff like that, and it's like him getting reintroduced to that. But I mean, I didn't really think too much one way or the other. I just wonder how they're gonna like.
Did any parts were you like, damn, that's sweet in any of it?
I didn't really look at like.
Did anything impress you?
I didn't look at it that much, but the thing was, I watched,
So no.
I listened to the podcast first that you guys said, and then I watched it. So I already had like your guys' opinions kind of like on my mind. So then I watched it, and I was like, oh yeah, I see what he's talking about. I see what he's talking about. I mean, I hope the fight scenes are good, but
I think the fight scenes are gonna be good, but I think overall they're gonna fuck it up by just making it look too pretty. You know?
Yeah, like that mirror part. I don't know what that was like. That was kind of weird.
And the light part that you brought up, like when I rewatched that part, I'm not into it. Like, it's weird. But I don't know. They, you know, what if they do something cool with like the Matrix? The people in the Matrix are in another Matrix, because that's like why like they foreshadowed the phones. The people in the phones are like, so now when you're in the Matrix, you aren't even living real life anymore. Now you're living this other Matrix that's like, I wonder if they'll tie in like a social media aspect, or like, you know, like how we like do
modern day version.
Yeah.
I saw a theory someone put out there about how they might go like, or it could be like, go like Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
What is that like?
Which was like the last Freddy movie. Well, basically it would be like the Matrix is a movie within this movie, and that Keanu Reeves is the actor that plays Neo in the movie.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
The only thing is, do you think they're gonna just say like, you know, like in the second one, when the architect's like, we've done this before, you're not obviously the first one, there's been many iterations of you.
Yeah.
So is that what they're just saying, that this next Matrix is just going to be like the next point that it all starts from the beginning, or is this a continuation of Matrix Revolutions, where after Neo was like,
yeah, I mean that's the big mystery.
Yeah,
that's what nobody knows, you know.
Well, doesn't Neo kind of like doesn't he split at the end of the Revelations, or what is it, Revolutions? Revelations. Yeah. So doesn't he like take off
Revolution
at the end of it? Isn't there a big scene of him like
No, he gets like, carried off.
Yeah, like his dead body.
Dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's basically like a metaphor for Jesus. Like that particular part, he gets like carried off by the.
Well, the whole thing was supposedly like a big metaphor
Wrong
of Jesus. What is it?
It's about transgenderism.
Oh, weird.
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna like when they have to add these social justice things in, because there's someone who's a director or someone who, you know.
Well, the director
is a producer.
You know who the director is?
I know all that whole.
Yeah. So the director is definitely, you know, she came out and said that, you know, that the first movie was a metaphor for transgenderism, which
I don't want to get banned from it.
I already say it's not. I call it. I say it's complete bullshit.
100% it's
Yeah.
bullshit.
100% bullshit.
If you don't agree with it, you can't. I mean, that's an opinion. You're allowed to have that opinion because
But people are like, well, she wrote it.
yeah,
And it's like, so?
he wrote it.
But
actually.
there's like
Yeah,
what
yeah, he
part?
wrote it
You know,
first
like
off,
what
and-
part is even close?
Are you allowed to
even-
do that, or do
20
you? So
years.
when now this may be a hot topic, but when there is somebody who's transitioned, are you allowed, quote unquote, to like? Do you refer to them as their gender, like for like Bruce gender? Like, did he win the
No,
Olympics?
there's something. These people got fucking.
I love these
These
things.
nerves,
though.
so much
nerve,
I
dude.
love these. I
know.
love these little rules that they have.
Yeah, these people got fucking problems with everything. No, they got something for everything.
Yeah.
It's called something like dead
naming.
dead naming or
Yeah.
some shit.
Okay, so even bringing up, but Bruce or whatever, Caitlyn Jenner, she
Because
brings.
it's
up
just like how
Bruce.
like liberals want to get rid of history, you know, like make
Yeah.
it like history didn't exist.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
And we can
do
talk
with
about
their
that,
names,
right, my dog?
Yeah, we are about to talk about that. But they want to. It's not just history they want to get rid of. It's like they want to get rid of the whole conception of like the family gender, male and female, right? Because if like both genders are so confused, you know, like
Yeah.
we're gonna get into this crazy shit, but
It is a thing. And then I remember on a Rogan or something, he had this guy on who talked heavily about that at the end of all societies, they get real mixed up on genders, and
then
you
they
know,
fall.
they
yeah,
fall
they fall.
because
It's like how Rome fell.
yeah, because during that time you have so much, like in our time in our life we have so much
Yeah,
that
we're
like,
so privileged.
we're so privileged that there's
It's like what
nothing.
Candace Owens says.
Yeah, there's
basically.
nothing else to like really work for or bitch about, so we have to like start finding little things in our lives and
Yeah.
these weird things and gender identities and so on and so forth and anxiety and stuff like that. Like that shit was like, it wasn't even like you had an anxiety disorder before. You just had to find some motherfucking berries. You know, like
Yeah.
back in the day, you had to find some berries. There was maybe some anxiety that you needed to find the berries, but like you weren't wondering who you were. I think it's the whole idea of that we've really become like ego based with being so privileged. Is like we have this identity culture.
Well, yeah, it's all about ego. I mean, that's all it is. Me, 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 me. Look at me, you know? Like that's what our culture is now. It's just like, you know, selfie, you know, look at my opinion post, you know. I mean, this fucking show is
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
is that like
Our values have been subverted over time. It's not been an instant process. It's been like a slow process of erosion. So like exactly what you said. It's me, me, me. We went from like delaying gratification to instant gratification. Do you ever notice that? Like, but it's not just in one small area. It's like every possible way that they could essentially foster instant gratification is now the norm in our lives. And the society, like the stress that, for example, like our brains are under on a day-to-day basis is not the same type of stress that someone 500 years ago was under, you know, who was just farming. Like it's way different. The amounts of the pressures, the different things that we all like have to worry about at all times, you know. And then it gets to the point where now you have to wonder, okay, what gender is this person that I can clearly see like what one they are, but I have to like know what name they want me to call them, or else I'm a bad person. And
I have to make up a problem.
yes, it's like absolutely insane anyways. But
yeah, I gotta make up, and then I gotta make up this new excuse of what this movie is that I wrote fucking 20 years ago is actually about. I gotta make up a new excuse.
So that way you're playing to the idea of, you know, you're playing to saying, well, I wrote this movie about transitioning, so like it's an okay thing, so you should, you know, entertain that idea or whatever they're doing to make everyone question their identity.
you know what? Honestly, some people, and I don't know if we want to get like this deep into it this early because I don't want to like just go off, but the whole like, in my opinion, the whole gender confusion debate, like what is it all about in general? And honestly, I'm going to say this too. It's going to sound bad, but like the sexuality debate too, with like homosexuality, heterosexuality, and like at the end of the day, what is the goal? Like the goal is to make a group of people basically reproduce less. Okay, like because when they reproduce less over time, they get erased from the gene pool because demographics are destiny. So when there's a group of people that they have like 10 kids per family, and then there's a group of people that they have 1 or 2 kids per family, it's just, the point is to make people confused so that in a culture they're not mating as much, they're not having healthy families, they're not raising healthy kids. So
what this boils down to is a overpopulation issue that they're trying to solve.
I don't think it's an overpopulation issue. I think the issue is one of it's an issue of it's controlling people, because like what you're doing basically is you're demoralizing. So you're removing any connection that they had with like their gender roles or the cultural roles that they're
like, okay, so like you take like a family unit, right? Anybody that has like a family, they're more prone, like you got to look out for that person. You got to look out for the mom or the dad of kids
when they're raised, dude. They do like, better with a mom and a dad.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you got to look out for the mom and dad, because the mom and dad are willing to do whatever they have to protect
their kids,
said child, So you get people not having kids, that makes them easier to manipulate and
not
control.
Having kids, because they don't even know what gender they are. Like,
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if you take away the family unit, it makes people more docile and more easy to manipulate, because they don't have anything that's going to, you can be like, wear your mask, and like you just be more like, yeah, wear your mask, rather than a parent is going to be like, well, wait a minute, like, is this bad for my kid? Like, it's going to start questioning things in order to protect the child,
Yeah, and we're also isolated, because what happens is, like, you ever watch what, like, when other cultures come to America, how they behave? They all, like, hang out together. So they're all, like, in groups, and they have a very cohesive culture, and that basically, it keeps them, in some ways, it, like, keeps families in line. It's like when we're all, like, separated, and and all we end up becoming are just like consumers. We're not really building like families, dynasties. It's just, our lives are just meant for like basically making profit, and that's it. We're not actually building and obtaining anything for us. We're sort of just like,
they just want us in a pod.
Yeah, it's just like the Matrix. It's literally just like the fucking
steal
Matrix,
our loosh, right?
Yeah. They just want you to like not build anything or have a strong community or strong like recognition with your culture or your ethnicity or your race or anything like that. They just want you to be like a consumer,
so they could steal your
energy. You can just work exactly like a battery. That's just what they want you as, or a cattle.
Yeah.
And
on that note, I've been watching this series called What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay.
You guys ever heard of this?
No.
Okay, it's a spin-off of a movie made by Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi.
Okay.
Do you know who Taika Waititi is?
No, it sounds familiar, but
he directed the Thor movie, the last Thor movie.
Okay.
I don't know if do you fuck with Marvel at all?
Yeah, I watched most of the Marvel like universe, so I've seen the few Thor movies.
Okay, so Jermaine Clements he's known for Flight of the Conchords.
Oh wait, are you talking about the Thor movie where he it's like Ragnarok? That one's good. Yeah, okay. And I've seen Flight of the Conchords too. So
okay, so Jermaine Clements is from Flight of the Conchords. Okay, and then Taika Waititi is a director, and he's mainly known now for that movie, but he's got some other good movies. But those two they're both from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Right? And they made a movie called What We Do in the Shadows. I think it came out in like 2013 or 2014.
Okay.
And it's like it's kind of like a mockumentary style movie, and it's about like this film crew filming this group of vampires and that live in a house together.
Okay.
Right, and it's just really funny. It's just like a really funny movie because like they're like kind of stupid and like self-absorbed and like and it's just about like them being vampires in today's world and like they're like goofy and shit.
Okay.
But it's done really, really well. And Taika Waititi and they both and Jermaine Clement, they both star in it too in the movie, and they do a really good job. And this is a series that's a spin-off of that, and it follows a house of different vampires
Okay.
that live in like New York. And yeah, I've been watching that. It's like in the middle of season 3 right now, and it's really good. It's just like it's really funny. It's a really funny show.
How do you find out about all these different shows? Like
That movie. So that movie, I think I was living at my parents' at the time because I was like in between places, and it was like one of those things where like it was like really late. It was like 1:30 in the morning, and I was like about to go to bed.
Yeah.
And that movie came on. Like I was about to turn off the TV, and the movie came on, and I was like, "Oh, what is this? Like I've never heard of this before." And it played, and it was just like so. It was so funny, and it drew me in that like I ended up watching like the whole thing, right, and loving it. And then I guess a lot of people liked it. It was like kind of like a cult thing.
Dude, I might check it out, man. I'm a big fan of
Yeah, and so they made a series on it of it. And it's really good. If you can, the movie is like way better than the show, but the show is really good because it's like I said, it's like these vampires, but they're like stuck in all their old ways and stuff, you know, and they're just
it's like comedy.
they're like yeah. It's strictly comedy. But it's like they're stuck in their old ways, and like they're like cocky and like self-absorbed, and they have like a familiar, which is like this person that wants to become a vampire, but in order to do that, he has to be like a serpent, you know?
Yeah.
And like they treat him like shit,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. But like he keeps thinking he's gonna be a vampire, and it's all these crazy things that they do throughout it. One of the roommates is a energy vampire. And the way he, instead of sucking blood and stuff, the way he gets energy is the way he feeds is he steals your energy, and the way he does that is by like boring you, right?
Oh,
so
right.
he'll like talk to you about a subject until you're super bored, and he's draining you. Like the more
making you weak.
Like the more like if he can upset you or make you bored or like make you sad. That's how he gets like your emotions is how he gets his energy off you, right? And as he's talking to you, like you're like literally draining of your energy. And so like what he does is like he's a real nerdy looking dude.
Okay.
If you like bring him up, it's that dude right there, that Mark. Go to that Mark Proch right there.
Oh,
nope, that's Anthony.
to the left,
Jim, right there. Yeah. So what he does is like he goes and he works in like an office space,
okay.
right? Like a cubicle type office space, but he doesn't even work there. Like he'll just infiltrate an office building and end up working at this place for like 4 years, not really being on the payroll at all.
Just getting
and like
energy.
what he'll do is like he'll make like annoying noises and stuff, like coughs. Like he'll like be sitting there and he'll just be like like every 10 minutes because he'll piss people off around him, you know, or he'll like talk to somebody about like something that's stupid boring, and that's how he gets his energy.
I'm gonna watch this show.
Yeah, it's really good. If you're especially like I
like
explain
vampire
on
stuff, don't
yeah,
you? Yeah,
I've always like me and my mom always liked vampire stuff, like growing up and everything. So I think that's one of the reasons I was so attracted to it. And then they just do such a brilliant job of parodying vampires.
All right, I'm gonna watch that. Let me ask you this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you ever seen Castlevania?
The cartoon, the
Netflix
anime
one, yeah.
No, I haven't seen it because I was never into like the games or anything.
Okay, all right.
But I've heard it's good.
It's interesting, yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know about any of all that.
But if you can, like I said, if you can find the movie, watch the movie first, What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows.
The movie is like fucking. It's brilliant. Like that was my first introduction to Taika Waititi, and like it was like, oh, who's first him as an actor on it. I was like, oh, I really like this guy, like his acting on this, you know. And then I found out that he wrote
Taika Waititi. I was like, who is that? Can you bring that up?
Oh, he wrote and directed this. Yeah, that's him right there.
Okay.
Yeah, he just made that movie. He just what's that movie called? It's called Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, I've seen that movie.
Where Taika Waititi plays Hitler, imaginary Hitler.
It's good. Yeah. Go for it.
Are we losing Enzo for a second?
Sorry. Oh shit. He had to pee.
Oh, okay.
He's like, I gotta pee. I'm like, it's all good. Go pee. I seen Jojo Rabbit. Did you see that movie?
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
I really liked it. Yeah, I liked it. Dude, you know what part, spoiler alert for Jojo Rabbit? I think we talked about it on the show. We did.
Did we talk about it?
Yeah. Yeah, the part where his mom's shoes.
I don't know.
Where he like
part.
So he like backs up and he like backs into her shoes and she's hanging.
Oh yeah.
Like that part fucking hit me
Yeah,
hard, dude.
yeah.
I was like, oh, like I like made a noise when the shoes popped up, and they did a really good job of expressing her shoes throughout it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this movie.
Oh. Okay.
You know what movie I was thinking of was that movie with
Go up though. Go up real quick. So
that movie
picture.
with
See, that's him playing Hitler.
Okay. Jojo Rabbit.
He plays Hitler in this?
Yeah, that's Taika Waititi.
Okay.
So is it like is it like a good version?
Jojo Rabbit is about Jojo Rabbit is about this young boy who is what is he, like a youth? What are they called? Like a Nazi youth?
Yeah,
like
Hitler Youth.
He just gets into the Hitler Youth program, and he wants to be like this, like, you know, righteous soldier, and it's just like him and his mom.
Okay.
And he wants to be like this big man for like his mom and everything like that, and he loves like Hitler, like he's like all about Hitler and everything like that, and so.
Okay.
Taika Waititi.
You're like, who would do
that? Well, I was gonna say, like, I'm surprised they even allowed someone to make this movie. Okay,
so
continue.
Taika Waititi plays his imaginary version of Hitler, so like he's like his imaginary friend. Okay, and he's like, you know, the dude's all about like Nazis and like the Nazi life, but then he finds a Jewish girl in his attic, the same age as him.
Interesting.
And it's about it's about like them like they hate each other at first, you know, and then they become friends and everything like that.
Okay.
It's a little cute movie, like a little artsy type movie, but
yeah, I've never seen it at all.
You've never seen
I was thinking of the movie. What's that movie with I don't even think it's about Hitler, actually. No, I'm thinking of it. It's like, God damn, who is it? It's one of those guys who does like the Farley brothers, maybe? Farley?
Okay. Coen Brothers?
Coen Brothers. Yeah. It was whatever their recent movie was.
Oh, that one about like Hollywood?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was about Hollywood. Took that time period, right?
Probably.
Yeah. So,
Something around there.
There was some sort of connection.
But yeah, What We Do in the Shadows. Check it out.
I'm gonna check
watch
it
the
out for
series.
sure.
Watch the series on
Did
Hulu.
you guys get that? Because we talked about like 7 different things.
Jim's putting in his notes.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely check that out.
it's on Hulu if you have Hulu.
I'm a fan of gothic horror in general, so like
really, you'll love it.
gothic
then, dude.
horror
Watch,
is my favorite
again,
genre.
like search
Second
the
is high
movie.
fantasy.
I don't know what it's on. Hold on, I can find out real quick where you can stream the movie,
Okay, cool.
or if you even can. Did you stream or did you rent Apocalypto?
It was on Amazon Prime, so.
It was on Amazon.
Yeah, it's
Prime.
on Amazon Prime.
Are you a horror movie, Enzo, or like horror
I
movie
like
guy?
I've thought a lot about this. I like horror movies that are not based on serial killers. I like when it's more like exorcism, occult, like spirits, stuff like that. More than I don't like serial killer movies. They freak me out.
Like Halloween, like original horrors, or like?
I mean, not that one. I mean, yeah, like I'm saying more modern day. Like I don't want to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like I don't want to watch stuff like that. Like I just don't like them. Or the one that really freaked me out the most though was when I was younger. I watched Red Dragon, which is like a Hannibal.
Oh,
yeah, we know.
And it like freaked me out. So
that's a good movie.
So what horror
Yeah.
movies do you like?
I look like The Conjuring. I like any exorcism movies.
Okay,
I
so you like the supernatural,
yeah, exactly, like occult.
paranormal.
How do you feel about the supernatural?
In terms of what?
Like, what do you think, like, real supernatural encounters are?
What are you saying? Like
do you
I
fuck
believe
with
in
them?
Ghosts?
Do you believe in
Yeah,
ghosts?
I believe not in ghosts, but it's like, oh man, I never wanted to talk about this on a podcast, but like I feel like at times in my life, I've had people like that have passed away in the past, you know, and there have been times like years later that I feel like I saw them. Like when I was like walking, you know, and I just like looked and I just like saw someone. I don't know, for a second there I was like, holy crap, you know, like it just was a weird feeling.
You get deep on this? I want to know. Give me an example of this.
No, I can't right now. I mean,
why?
Like I feel like, for example, like my dad, I feel like I've seen him a couple other times in
Since
my
he's
life.
passed.
Yes, like since he's passed, I've had just a couple like weird experiences that were like,
But not only with your dad.
no, most of them were with my dad. Like that I've had these experiences where it was like I remember one time I was in downtown Grand Rapids and I was drinking with me and my buddies. We're all like walking downtown and this guy was like walking by and I just like looked at him. And for some reason, like when he looked at me, I just was like, I didn't think anything at the time. And then I kept walking. And then afterwards I was like, it was just such a weird feeling. Like I didn't think to myself like, oh, that was my dad. But it was just like, I don't know. I just had this like weird feeling about it. Like I just saw someone that I knew, like I connected for a second. Like I know who that was. It was just a weird feeling. So I don't know. That sounds weird, but that's, so I kind of believe that like.
Have you had more of these experiences? Like that you.
3. There's been 3 particular times where I was like afterward, or no, maybe 2, where I was like afterwards I was kind of like, what the fuck was that?
Okay.
You know, like what the fuck was that?
You can't really describe this that well.
The second one, I was
The
working at a
words.
pizza place, dude, and this guy came in and like, I don't even want to describe it because it sounds cheesy, but like,
Fuck it, describe it.
so I was like working behind the counter.
I just want to know.
Yeah,
like,
behind the
fuck
counter.
this shit. Like, I
Yeah,
just want
for
to
real.
know. Yeah.
So I was like working there. It was when I was working at Crust Pizza in Rochester, and this guy came in and he like ordered a pizza and he wanted like prosciutto on it, which is like this Italian meat.
I love how you said that.
Yeah.
You say that again.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it again in the story. But but we also had this like pizza that had it on it. So I like, I don't know, I must have been like busy or something. And I went in the computer and I was just like typing it in. I'm like, all right, let me just get this guy like the fuck out of here. And I ended up like giving him the pizza at a certain point. He was like waiting. And I remember like looking at his hands and he was like, his hands just like, again, it just gave me this weird feeling. Like it reminded me like of my dad. Like it was so weird. So I came back and I gave him the pizza and he like didn't want that one because he wanted the one that he like ordered. He wanted just like a regular pizza with this meat on it, you know?
What's that meat?
Prosciutto.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like a cured meat.
Wait, what did you give them?
They had a pizza that was called that. It was called like the prosciutto pizza, but it had like,
Okay, so you gave him like the specialty pizza, and
Yeah,
he just wanted
a regular
pizza with
prosciutto on it. Yeah. And anyways, he just like when I gave it to him, he didn't like object or anything. He was just like, what is this? And he just like smiled at me and then he like walked out. But again, it was just one of those situations where at the time I didn't think anything of it. But then like 20 minutes later, I was standing there and I was like, I just had a fucking weird experience. Like,
was it your dad?
dude, I don't fucking know, man. Like, I swear to God, dude.
But was that like what you were thinking? Though?
I mean, like
20
afterwards,
where
I
you're
was like,
was that
holy
my
shit!
dad?
I just had like an experience where I like just saw like it was like, you know, when, okay, this is the best way I can explain it. Have you ever seen the Passion of the Christ movie, Mel Gibson, the one that he directed?
Yes,
you know,
but only once. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm not saying that. I'm talking specifically about a thing. There's this part in the movie where like the Satan character, his face is like amorphous, like it's between a man and a woman.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what it was like, but it was like weird. I felt like I was looking at someone and I'm like,
they were shifting.
Dude, I'm fucking seeing this person here that like I feel like I've known all my life, but it's not them. It was just a weird experience.
Okay.
So that was my one experience that I feel like I've felt like something like I felt really uncomfortable afterwards. I've never like quote unquote like seen a ghost or anything like that.
Do you believe in that stuff though? Like, do you like?
I don't know what it means.
Did you believe in that stuff before you had that experience? Actually, is a better question. Like, prior to that experience, did you kind of write that?
Do you believe in haunted areas? Like, do you believe in haunted houses?
I mean,
do you think a house could be
the thing is this, it's like, what does that mean? Does that mean like the way that we think of it, where it's like a spirit?
Like, if you see a video and someone's like, yo, my house is haunted, like I'm being for real, and like they're showing you video of things like getting knocked over and shit.
I believe that
doors slamming. Do you think that'd be
like
real?
Presences, yes. Like,
okay.
I think that, for example, there was one time at a house that you guys were at.
So there's more.
That I felt uncomfortable. More. There have been more, actually, now that I think about it. There was a time when we were at a place that you guys were at. I don't know what place it was. It was at some house, and I felt uncomfortable. I felt like there was someone in the other room, and I kept looking back there, and I was like, and I think you told me that there was some weird shit, but there was also in college. In college, my friends had a place that was similar, and I just didn't think of those until now that you said that. Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah. Do you remember that house that I'm talking about?
Was it the Asmar house?
Had to have been.
Was it like a house that like all of us lived at?
I don't know. Yeah, you guys must have all been living there.
Was it in like Sterling Heights?
Yeah, I think so. It was probably that house, but I just remember being there and being like...
Well, there's some fucked up shit in that house.
Yeah.
So, okay. Now, I've always been a skeptic on supernatural shit forever. Mm-hmm. And I'm just kind of naturally contrarian to all those, any idea for that matter. Like, not just the supernatural, but whatever. I'm always like, back when it was not cool to like George Bush, I liked George Bush because I thought I would look at it from that side, stir the pot.
Okay.
But with the supernatural shit, like, I didn't believe it until I started hearing stories and seeing things. Like I seen some things at possibly that same house that you were at that were undescribable. The only way to describe them was through like supernatural entities. So, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, and there's people that like I know this kid who I used to work for or used to work with rather. He fucking like was for real told me he saw dead people. Like
sees dead people.
He sees dead people. I don't know.
We're supposed to try to get him on.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. But it wasn't a bullshit story.
Yeah.
So, and what I'm listening to you talk about this, and that's an amazing thing to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was a strange feeling. I mean, it's not like at the moment I was grappling with, okay, what was that? Like what do I attribute that to? Am I just thinking, is this just my mind doing this because it's like
you're thinking of your father,
grieving thing or whatever? But there were just a few times where I had to literally just say like, dude, this is fucking weird, and I can never really talk about this, even though I just said it online on the podcast here. But yeah, man, it's interesting to talk about. To me, I definitely believe there are people out there who practice occult and get into some weird shit probably,
and fuck with some odd energies and manipulate the world that we live in, and well, that's like, and kind of going back to what Jake was talking about with like haunted houses, like we listened to this podcast, it's called what the fuck's it called, the Tinfoil Hat Podcast with Sam Tripoli. And he describes the world as a haunted house. Like that's his like description of the world. It's like it's this haunted house where everything is just kind of an illusion, and it's kind of meant to like fuck with us a little bit. And it's a brilliant description of what the world is like.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think when you start like thinking about the, evil or good or whatever, like all of those things, like they all kind of work within that realm.
I was just trying to get into like, if you're excited for Halloween.
Well, yeah,
I am,
time
dude.
come up
Halloween's
to watch.
my favorite.
Like
dude.
I was like wondering if you get into like watching scary movies and stuff around Halloween or not.
Not going that deep. Yeah, no, I like The Conjuring. That's my favorite like horror movie.
The Conjuring. Huh?
The first Conjuring is probably my favorite horror movie, but in general, I feel like there's a big space for a more serious werewolf movie. Like there needs to be.
You want a werewolf movie?
Like I want
how do you make
American
like
Werewolf in London? That
Yeah.
one's cool, dude. But it's like old.
Yeah, but how do you make that
I don't
now?
know.
Like that's a hard movie to make, like a werewolf movie.
My first scary movie was a werewolf movie.
Because it's like
Silver Bullet. Fucking
Silver Bullet's a good one.
And
yeah.
it's scary. And if you remade Silver Bullet, that would be the way to
They
do
would
it.
just ruin it.
I know they would ruin it.
With
Yeah.
the computer.
If Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first remake, that guy did it, or
Yeah, but it's just gonna it's just gonna look like a cartoon wolf.
if Zombie does it,
That's
Zombie
Yeah.
might do it good.
Zombies doing the monsters,
I know, it's interesting.
which is really interesting. You know what movie you need to check out though for
What?
a nice scary movie, and you can rent or you can watch it on Amazon. It's called Hell House.
Okay.
It's really good.
All right.
Yeah,
We talked about that last year.
it's like a found footage type movie about.
Like a house that's inhabited by
No,
spirits?
they're like a haunted house company,
Okay.
and they put on like an extravagant haunted house in a different like city every year,
Okay.
and they go to this hotel that's like a super haunted hotel, and they want to put it on there. It's like a famous hotel for being haunted, and so they put on this. The movie opens up with this news report about the opening night of this haunted house. Like 8 people died in
Okay.
it, and then it takes you into the all the footage of them actually like setting up the haunted house, everything that led up to that incident.
Okay.
And it's just really creepy, man. Like they do a really good job. Like it's super low budget.
What's it called?
It's called Hell House.
Hell House. All right.
Yeah, give it a watch.
Yeah.
What are you guys going to be watching this Halloween season?
All of it.
You, like,
Yeah.
what do you
All
get
of
into?
it.
You have
Yes.
a couple that you always watch?
Ooh, lots.
I like
We watch like old
Dracula,
movies.
the original. That one is one I like. What do you like?
Halloween.
Okay, you
Rob
guys like more
Zombie.
like those. I like more like gothic horror.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Demons and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You watch The Exorcist?
Yeah.
You ever seen The Exorcism of Emily Rose?
No. I want to watch them, but I don't know
I don't
which-
like any Exorcist movie.
No.
I like
Other than The
Exorcism of
Exorcist.
Emily Rose.
Ever
That's the
seen
only one.
Constantine? That's a cool one. But it's like more,
Yeah.
it's like less what do you
Well, it's a comic book. So.
Yeah, but it's still pretty badass.
Yeah, it is badass.
I like Constantine too. That's a really good
It's
one.
like my genre that I like.
Okay.
That's why I bought this liquid death shit, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me
dude,
see that real quick.
fucking-
What is up with this liquid death here? So it's just it's sparkling water.
No, they make regular water too.
Yeah.
They just make regular
Yeah.
water.
But it was at 7-Eleven, and I just was like, I scooped it.
I won't lie. I picked up.
But
a
why is it
case-
called liquid death?
I don't know.
Probably says
It's
here.
water from the Alps.
I think it's just to be metal.
Fancy, yeah, to be
Yeah,
metal,
I think
exactly.
so. I mean, I think it's like they're probably gonna promote it at like rock shows and shit like that. And,
So this worked, man. That's crazy.
yeah, it
Someone's
worked.
just like, "Oh, we're gonna put water in a
Sell
can
water
and
in a
call
can.
it liquid death," and it fucking
It's
worked.
good marketing, man. I mean, it
I
is pretty
guess.
metal. That's what I like about it.
Dude, you get a case of those when you go camping, and fucking if people are drinking and shit, you just give them those every once in a while, and they fucking chill
feel-
out.
yeah.
They chill out a little bit. They're able to have a good time.
Yeah.
You get them shotgun a few of them. I did.
When did have those been around for a while?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
I remember them for a long time, probably 10 years or so.
All right.
But
What? What? Has?
Liquid Death.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
For real. Such an odd.
I don't know. I really have a hard time remembering anything. So.
Like such an odd thing to like market water.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what? If I have a choice between a company that calls themselves Liquid Death and they market themselves like that over like Aquafina, I'm picking Liquid Death every time.
Yeah, Liquid Death's been around since 2019.
Oh shit.
You've just been giving people Four Locos.
Probably.
And they pass out. You're like, yeah, dude, it just calms them down.
Calms them down.
Give
Makes
them
the
this
party
Liquid
chill. I swear I've seen this.
Because
In
everyone's like, what is this, Jim? You're like, it's Liquid Death.
Yeah.
It's Four Loco. Shotgun it.
I don't think Four Locos a thing anymore.
It is.
I think they chilled it out though.
Yeah, they did.
Like it used to be like an intense ass drink.
I don't even think I've ever had one.
I've had a few disc golfing for sure.
Yeah, I've never drank one. I mean, I've had one, but like,
Yeah.
I never like drank it.
There was a
Got
thing
fucked
like an
up.
energy drink, booze drink
I didn't like that kind of drunk.
that was happening. Like the
Yeah.
Sparks. Remember those?
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
like what? Like fucking 2008,
Yeah.
2007,
2000,
2008
Yeah.
was like when like this booze energy drinks were starting to pop off.
It's like Jaeger bombs and that shit.
Red
too.
Bull vodka, man.
Red Bull
That's-
vodka.
Dude, if I want to get like really
Yeah, but they
drunk,
were like-
I'll
'Cause
do
back-
any type of like Red Bull with
Ugh, I
liquor.
can still taste
it
the
just
sparks.
rocks me, man.
You don't
I
like
could still taste the sparks.
right? It's like
Yeah.
a
Different kind of drunk.
Smartie. Or
Yeah,
something, right?
yeah, like a Smartie.
flavor. Yeah.
Ugh.
Dude, I remember maybe I shouldn't say this actually. Never mind. I don't know if I should say this, so I won't. But that's what you have to do, I guess. Sometimes you just gotta self-edit.
Sometimes you just
I was just gonna.
can't say some shit.
I was just gonna say whatever I wanted to.
There you go.
That will get me in trouble.
There you go.
Yeah, one more thing for pop culture is I watched. So changing the subject
I
here.
love that this is the pop culture segment, but it's just like not. We're just like trying to figure out how to say like a movie here. And it's I don't know, it's funny. But what else?
The last thing I got. Oh,
It's okay. Keep going.
you got a timestamp?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Oh shit.
I heard that asshole. He did something bad. What are you gonna say before then? By the way, since you're gonna edit this out.
Edit what out? Oh, you
said
want
what?
to
I didn't even hear
know?
anything
Yeah.
you said.
I was just gonna talk about like my manager drinking like Sparks in the office at work and shit like that. But I didn't want to say that on here because
When back in the day?
Yeah,
Okay.
like he'd always have like Sparks cans in the office, and I was like, damn, this dude's fucking savage. Like, all right, but we can just
Okay.
keep on talking.
And so
Anyways,
yeah, so the the last thing I have on pop culture was I was feeling comedy, like I wanted to watch something comedy, and I put on We Are the Millers. Have you guys seen that?
yeah, I think so.
Jason. How do you say his name? Sudeikis.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. That's the No Regrets movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got Jennifer Aniston. Do you know what I'm talking about? Or We're the Millers.
Oh yeah,
We're the Millers.
yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
It's like the family road trip movie.
Well, Jason Sudeikis is a drug dealer, and he gets robbed, and he has to make up for himself getting robbed, and so
he creates a family.
he has to
right?
go. He has to go and smuggle weed into the country from Mexico, and so he comes up with this idea of creating a family to be like a disguise. And yeah, I don't know. It's really just a funny movie. One of the funnier movies I think out there in that genre.
It's been a while since I saw that. I think
Yeah,
2013 or something.
yeah. It's been a while since I saw it too. It was on HBO, so like I clicked and watched it, and man, it had me laughing a whole bunch. And yeah, still holds up. That's all I got. Well, this was supposed to streamline through. Like we
I
weren't supposed to
know.
talk about like ghosts and fucking.
Yeah, it's all right though.
flow.
Dude, when we hit on that ghost portion, like it struck a nerve with you. Like it was like I hadn't felt this feeling, and
Several times.
that's the shit that makes me believe in that shit. Like it's like seeing somebody that
Yeah.
actually experience. I've never really.
Well,
But the thing is, I don't.
I'm gonna play
claim-
devil's advocate on that though. You can't say that shouldn't just make you believe in it because the mind does tricky things.
Correct, and that's why I'm not
You
saying, hey, like I know that is a ghost
Especially-
right there. What I think, right? What I'm saying is, it was a strange feeling, is more what I mean, and it was something that I don't think I could explain. Like I thought about ways to, like, look at it and try and explain to myself, like, okay, maybe it was like your mind playing tricks on you, right?
Yeah.
Because it's an emotional tie. But it was a very strange
Because
feeling.
I do know that people, I have heard sayings that, people who've lost,
Loved ones, yeah.
loved ones see them every day.
Every
yeah.
day, yeah.
But there
I mean,
could be something to that.
It could be,
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like,
but it could be
so-
the mind, the mind wanting to seeing what it wants to see
True.
too.
True.
Just like how the body craves, if you're
Anything.
if you're missing like a nutrient, your body will crave a food that has that nutrient in it, right?
Yes.
So like I think it
That
could
is
work
true.
the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what about the dead people?
What?
Like the dude that
person who
sees
sees
the
dead
dead
people?
people. Like
Yeah, I don't know,
Like
man.
these
Yeah.
are like. That's,
I'm not saying that can't be real.
Yeah, I know.
Well, the question is like, where does this like? How far does it extend in terms of like what being the occult can or cannot be within the realm of possibility? Like, are we talking here? Okay, like spirits are real. All right, well, if spirits are real, are like demons real? Are demonic spirits real?
That's what I'm talking about.
You
So
know.
so like if you believe in that stuff, like
How far does it go?
Yes.
And is it where we are just trying to explain things, complex things through science, and our understanding, but really what's happening is something that's supernatural per se? I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. I don't know
or
if
even
I believe
mythological or whatever. Like these ideas, like they're
where
just
did they come from?
exactly like they got to be rooted in truth. Like and to just discard everything as well. Now science has said it's this. Like, well, that's just kind of you're just believing in a new one. Then you're just believing in a new mythology of this science stuff. Like.
I mean, yeah, because the thing is science, yeah, like okay, it's not always. Sometimes science is
That's science, whatever you just did right
Yeah.
there, my dog. Like
No,
that
I'm
was
saying-
that was science.
Well, I'm
like you're
saying-
like sometimes it always is, but so, it's like
yeah.
well that's science.
Sometimes what we say as fact changes. So it's like science is never really settled, right? It's always changing. So what we've tried to explain over time, these experiences, and somehow like, do you know what like epigenetics are? Have you ever
No,
heard of
but
epigenetics?
I don't know. I think that word might have just got us flagged.
No, it's not. It's just like epigenetics they found that basically through our DNA, we can like pass down certain things to children or ancestors, pass down things to us through their DNA that are more like complex than we originally thought, right? So what were we talking about?
We're the Millers.
Yeah,
No, we're
the
not
Millers.
talking about we're the Millers still.
Jennifer Aniston. you
No,
know?
we were talking about these experiences that like people have had throughout history that they haven't quote unquote been able to explain, and they've always been, like we all have the same type of conception of like what a ghost is, right? Or a spirit is. Like
Yeah.
where did that come from? That idea originally. And so I brought up the epigenetics thing because I thought about like, you ever think like people that are more spiritually in tuned, is that because around, someplace down their ancestral line, like there was some sort of like supernatural experience that occurred that like forever maybe changed them or changed what they passed down to their you know, like younger, their son, daughter, grandchildren. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. Did you follow that, Jake?
Yeah.
So maybe that's why like some people have these experiences and some people don't, right? Because along the way, their like line, their ancestral line, there was just some sort of like maybe a mutation, maybe whatever it was, but it was something that maybe was passed down. And so that's why some people are like
Indigo Children.
Is that what that is? I don't know.
Kind of.
What's an Indigo Children?
An Indigo child's like there's apparently people out here that just
they got feelers
they
out.
just resonate at a different frequency.
Okay.
They got like antennas basically, like
so do you believe
they
in that
pick
stuff?
up like emotions, they have more empathy and stuff like that with people.
Do you believe in that stuff?
Yeah.
I do too. And I think
so
because
like how far does it go? Like, you know.
Well, and I think a big portion of this, that if we want to get into like idea of like the man
we're all capable
and the
of it.
occult, exactly. I think we're all capable of these things, but what's happening is they're suppressing a lot of things in us with the chemicals, with the everything that we put around us, and the Wi-Fi and all that shit. Like,
and it's like I think like people that are like super who are like born that way, like people that can see dead people, or you know, or indigo children and shit like that. Like those, I think those are just people that were born without the suppression of it, like in them. Just like kind of how like we talked about here on the show about like how ADHD, some people think that, you know, ADHD is something that we all had in us because of we used to be hunter gatherers, and so we always like we had to be like alert and constantly like looking around, you know, because like we were predators and prey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like it was just something that like was inside of us to keep us alive. And you know, people that have ADHD really bad actually have it. That was just never suppressed. It's still within them. You know, it's part of being human, but because of how our lifestyle and stuff has, like it there's really no need for that trait anymore. Just like you know, wisdom teeth, supposedly, you know, like what they say with wisdom teeth, we don't need them anymore and stuff. So it's kind of
like your appendix too. They do that with your
like
appendix.
In your appendix and shit. So like,
but do you look at it like that, or do you look at it more like they need to keep people?
But we all have it. What we're trying to say though is that some people are just born without the suppression of it. So it's possible that it's in all of us and we're all capable of it. It's just some people are born with it, just like how some people are born and are able to sing, you know, like naturally able to sing and shit like that. But like with the occult, like, you know, like you're capable of it, that kind of shit, but like you might have to like dive into some shit to unleash it, like dive into magic and shit like that, you know. And
and that's where I'm like, it's not like,
what I think a lot of people do. Did you listen to that episode where that dude was on talking about
Aleister Crowley?
No.
I think a lot of people do that too.
There's some guy that wrote a book, and he wrote a book about like occult magic within like Hollywood and stuff, and like he's like friends with like Marilyn Manson and everything like that.
Yeah.
And like how like a Marilyn Manson like practices magic, and like how a lot of these Hollywood people and stuff and successful people,
Kabbalah,
kind of, but it's just magic in general, just like magic, and a lot of it's dark magic and shit. You know,
there's something.
But people
Kabbalah is just, what is Kabbalah, Jake?
I don't know. You tell me. I'm not into that world that much.
Who's gonna say it?
Is it a Jewish thing?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure it stems from many places though too. Like I'm not that, but like I'm sure
that's the one thing I know about.
I'm saying I'm sure there's other forms of magic.
Here's another
too,
thing.
you know.
Do you know that Trump wrote in one of his books that he had a Kabbalah teacher?
Hey, and
what is that though? Is that dark magic?
What about MAGA? Now, have you heard about this?
Dude, I've heard something about that, but I didn't look into it.
Have you heard about this? About
so
MAGA?
Wait, are we not talking about We're the Millers anymore?
This is still We're the Millers.
I didn't mean to derail the
funny
combo.
movie.
Yeah. If you go deep into it.
No, what are we talking about? MAGA?
MAGA.
Like the slogan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what that
MAGA.
also is? MAGA.
I've seen like a
You've
meme
always
for
said
this.
it wrong.
I've seen a meme for
Is
this.
that
but-
saying it wrong? MAGA.
No, I know what
It's
you're
MAGA.
saying. MAGA. That's
But
what I say.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a tomatoes thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what it also means is it's double meaning, and like it's like the third degree Satanism.
Well, yeah. I mean, that would make sense. I mean, I haven't heard that, but it would make sense because think about Build Back Better, which is Joe Biden's, which was Joe Biden's slogan. Well, I'm just saying, like that's connecting they're like we all kind of say like they're probably all the same, right? Like, or maybe they're two different forces using the same magic, competing with each other, for rule, right?
Yes.
So they're using "Make America Great Again," and then Joe Biden's using "Build Back Better," which is the same exact slogan. It's the same. Like when you break it down, make build back better. Like build. What do you do when you build? You build something. You make something, right? When you build, you make. Back.
Yeah.
Again,
Well,
back,
it's
again,
like
back,
marketing, I mean.
and then better.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Right? They're the exact same slogan. So what is this? What are you trying to say, Jim? Because I kind of cut you off. I'm just saying that
No, you're good.
they're
I'm trying
both.
to find-
If
that
one's
someone pointed out.
satanic, then the other one's satanic,
Well,
It's
here's
a-
the thing.
it's-
and they're both
Say-
using the same tactics.
Let me say this one thing is there. Have you guys ever heard of something called the Hegelian dialectic? It's like what they do
No.
when they basically, you know how they like move the goalposts where it's like first. I don't want to go into this actually. It's too controversial, dude. Like,
Okay.
but Hegelian dialectic is basically what they do is they play both sides against each other and then they move the goalpost just a little bit closer in the direction that they actually want it to go by. So what they do is they put like one idea out there with an agitator and then they put another idea out there that's like opposing, right? And they get
So
the two
divide and
groups, like-
conquer,
Yeah, it's like
basically?
divide and conquer. But
Okay.
the way they do it is like they're just trying to move the goalposts a little. The arguments that are being placed forth aren't even necessarily like what's important. They're just trying to like get maybe something changed in the background. And I feel like both of these parties, they kind of work together, It's like they pretend they're enemies, but it's like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they're kind of like working together to just sort of move the goalposts a little bit.
Yeah, they're all part of one world government, acting like two different things to give us choice, and they're moving their goalposts to where they want it to go while making us think that we're
like
different.
We're identifying with all these different causes and all these different groups, like for example, MAGA, the Red Hat, America First, we're like having all these things that we're identifying with, and then the other side has all these, there are others, slogans and things that they're identifying
rainbow
with.
flags,
Yes.
and so on.
Pink
And it's
hair,
like
blue
these
hair.
identities that we have that are just opposing. Meanwhile, like in the background, they're doing like whatever they want. They're changing the country, like, and where people are still just like identifying with these teams as if anything that they're doing individually is affecting the outcome of the nation, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that. I just found out that the guy that directed Were the Millers also directed Dodgeball. So
It's a great movie.
Just gonna put
Both
that
of them
out
are
there
great
real
movies.
Dodgeball is probably one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. Like 100%. I think I've seen it 2 times in theaters too.
did we see Dodgeball together somewhere? I feel like we saw Dodgeball
I've seen
together.
it multiple times, so it's a possibility.
When did Dodgeball come out? 2004.
4 or 5. That was like right
So
when
we
we
were
were
in high
about to go
school.
to college or
It was
graduate or
2004.
whatever, yeah. Dude, do you guys remember that Bahamas trip that we went on?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
That
we
was
never
fun.
talked about that.
I know.
So
Yeah.
so
There's a few things.
me, Jim, Enzo, Joe, and our buddy Dan, who will be on one day.
Oh man.
It was funny. I was
Why?
gonna text you and be
When
like,
is
did
he gonna
you
be
did
on
you
there?
did you call Dan? Because you're like Enzo's coming on. I was like, did you call Dan?
No, Enzo's just had some shit I wanted to talk about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, anyways,
Did we talk about it yet?
He's gonna be on here. He's gonna come on here. But yeah, we all went on spring break together our senior year. So me, Jim, Joe, Enzo, and Dan. And we went to the Bahamas. We did a cruise. What was it, 4-day?
It was a
5
short
day.
one.
5 day,
5 day, yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
5 day.
5 day
it's a
cruise
short
to
one,
Bahamas.
yeah.
And it was a good time. What were you gonna bring up about it? You were
I
just
was
saying,
just-
remember?
I was just thinking about it recently.
I mean, it's your classic spring break, like
Yeah.
you know what I was thinking
like
about was
shenanigans.
the group of girls that were just right across the hall.
Yes.
from us.
Okay. So we got lucky. We
Yeah.
got we had our cabins, and the hall right across the hall from us was this group of girls from North Carolina, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. North Carolina.
Was it North or South? Which one has the accent?
Ooh.
I think it was.
I don't know if they both have accents. They had
it
an
was one of the
accent. They had like a
Carolinas.
Yeah.
It
that
was one of the
accent, right?
Carolinas.
And they were there on a choir trip
Yeah.
with their high school.
It was
And
just a good time.
they were
man.
like, yeah, it was a good time. They were right across the hall from us. Like we became friends over it. Do you remember? So one of the things was this
Yeah.
cruise is like you would order room service, and it would take like 2 hours to get like your fucking room service. And there was one night where I was going to bed. Me and Joe were going to bed because we were gonna do this jet ski excursion the next morning, and we had to get up at like 6 a.m. or some shit to do on this jet ski thing. So me and Joe went to bed in one of the cabins early, and I don't know why, but like somehow we ordered a ton of food. Do you remember this?
Yeah. It was
Do you
like
remember
a bunch
this?
Of burgers,
Like we
pizza,
ordered so much because
everything,
like
yeah.
you ordered stuff, I didn't know you'd ordered. Maybe I ordered, and Dan didn't know that I ordered, so he ordered stuff. I just remember fucking like being asleep, and then Enzo just like kicking in this door, like blasting through this door and being like, "You guys ordered fucking 15 cheeseburgers. You get in there and you eat those fucking burgers." And it was just like, what the fuck?
Dude,
I don't remember that.
I don't
Don't
think you were
remember that?
there.
You were
remember
probably-
being there with Joe and Jake at the time, but I don't know where you were.
You were somewhere.
It was I wish we would have had the chance to do that again. I know you guys went down to Florida with Joe and Dan and as a group, didn't you guys? Like,
We went on tour.
did
We
they
went,
go to
we
Florida?
went on
Oh,
tour. and
no, you
me
guys
and-
went on a trip.
Me and Joe and Dan.
Yeah.
Someone else is there. Spellman.
Well, he lived there, didn't he?
Yeah, Spellman met us up there. So Josh met us up there. But we
Yeah.
went to fucking Daytona.
Yeah,
It was a good time.
It would have been fun to all go and just do like a vacation again, or like a guys like a quarterly meeting or a weekend vacation. That would have been fun. Maybe one of these times.
This fool just said quarterly meeting.
Yeah, quarterly meeting, dude.
That's what I got going right now, actually. Is we're doing
I'll
a
never go.
quarterly
I don't
meeting
think
right
I'll
now.
ever go on a cruise again. I don't think.
Maybe not a cruise.
No, but just
Would you go camping?
Yeah, go up north or something.
Yeah.
We should do that.
I'm just saying.
actually.
I didn't mean for our quarterly meeting. I just meant
Can
for
we
like
do that? We could do
in
that.
general cruise
Can you get a weekend away?
from like the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
If it's
you
something
know?
we plan like in advance, you know.
Let's just call it a bachelor party or something like that.
Quarterly meeting, dude.
Yeah.
Mm,
A
that'll get
bachelor
us in
party.
trouble.
Yeah.
that'll
Never
get us
mind,
all
don't.
in trouble now.
We're going camping. Like
It's a leadership. It's a leadership thing for work.
a masculine
Yeah, a man's
retreat.
weekend.
You need that shit though.
You do, man.
You need that shit. You need that fucking.
We should go back to Joe's cottage.
I wonder if he still has that. That was a fucking dark place for me. The cottage was. I was in probably one of my darkest moments of my
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Why?
Okay.
Well,
Unless you don't want
yeah, I'll tell you about it.
All right.
It's
yeah,
it's nothing that not everyone knows, but actually one thing that I don't know if I would talk about on here, to be honest,
Right.
but it's pretty gnarly.
It is
I
gnarly.
should talk about it by all means, but it was a dark period of my life, but we recorded some music up there. And it was
We went up
fucking-
to write
yeah.
an album.
We wrote some music for
Yeah.
sure. I took a lot of Adderall and drank a lot of booze.
All right.
It pretty much
We got
began-
banned from there too.
Yeah.
Who was it? His cousins, Joe's cousin or something.
yeah,
like
something
that.
like that.
We're not allowed back.
Yeah, so we can't go
but I
there.
mean, that's when we were
This is
fucking
why
young,
guys
though.
like golf and shit. So they're like, "Oh, we want to go golf. We can go golf for a weekend."
Camping,
You know?
biking, anything, dude. I like being outdoors, man.
Well,
disking,
We're gonna have to plan it for
bro.
later on
Plan
then
that shit.
next year.
That's a good. We should do it. We should go on a
It's
bro
about to get
trip
cold.
and then have a podcast with the bro trip after.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be
cool.
sweet?
That
Yeah.
would be cool.
Do it like Joe's backyard. I'll set up an outdoor setup. We can do this outdoors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys think MAGA is fucking satanic?
I'm not saying that,
Dude, it's the fifth. So this is just in the Church of Satan. Like, this is just knowledge of the Church of Satan. Like, it's the fifth degree
Yeah.
of what you become, you know, in the hierarchy in the Church of Satan.
What do you mean?
Like,
What is the 5th degree? You become MAGA?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Though?
Or Magus.
Magus. It's like a
Oh,
wizard.
like it's like an actual term.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But,
Ah,
but
So like, yeah, and then what you were saying about, I mean,
Kabbalah. Google.
Yeah.
Go Google Kabbalah or whatever. Kabbalah. Okay. And just an ancient Jewish tradition of mystical interpretation. Okay, and he has a Kabbalah teacher in one of his books, but that's going back to what I think you were talking about when you were saying these things that all these stars are like into.
Yeah.
It's this stuff.
they practice magic basically. Just to put it like in broad terms, like magic.
Yep.
you
First
know?
transmitted orally.
A lot
then
of it's-
using esoteric
Most of it's
methods.
dark,
Yeah.
and using like dark magic to get power and get things and
feel
and
highs.
you
I'm
can
sure.
do it. You can do it. Everyone can do it. But it's it is supposedly it's dangerous.
Let me ask you this.
It's dangerous stuff to fuck around with.
What is adrenochrome?
Like, what is it? Like, what do I think it is?
What?
Like,
Yeah. Like, what is
I think
adrenochrome?
it's our adrenaline in our blood.
Okay, but
that's-
like, how do they use it?
I think it's basically like a DMT. I think it makes like when if you get it, you see, like people say when they take DMT, everyone talks about like meeting interdimensional beings in their trip as like usually some sort of. I've never got to experiment with DMT. Just wasn't never around.
Yeah, me neither.
Just never knew anybody that was like, yeah, I got DMT. Always wanted to try it though, but so I've always researched it heavily, and of course everybody knows Joe Rogan talked about it like all the time back in the day.
Yeah.
But they always talked about most people would talk about meeting some type of like entity in like a geometric shape or something like that, or like a ball of energy or ball of light or something like that would kind of guide them. And I think that adrenochrome would have like the same effect in that sense, but dark, like a dark entity.
So, but excuse me.
Why?
Adrenochrome is the harvesting of the blood, right?
Yeah,
The harvesting of the blood from presumably a human
child.
Right?
Mainly
Let's
a
just say
child.
presumably, whatever, a child, a human, but it has to happen when what happens, right? When they're like scared as hell and all that shit. And it's all very like ritualistic and like filled with mysticism and I don't know, where does all this stuff come from? All I know is, like I said, a lot of these people in Hollywood, they're practicing Kabbalah. Like, what is that? I mean, I don't know.
Some dark magic shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they put it in all their movies and
Yeah.
or put the tactics in the movies to basically put spells on us. Right.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you
it's
know
like
about like the Tower of Babylon? Or Babel. Tower of
Babel, right?
Yeah.
Babylon, Tower of Babel
Babel.
was like a part of the Bible when basically human beings, they said that they were going to try to like reach
God.
heaven and
Heaven.
God. And so they all started to like cohabitate with each other and try to like build this tower or something, but they worshipped other gods, like, because in this area at the time there were, like I mentioned in the last podcast, people in the Bible that worshipped Moloch and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? Anyways, well, in the Bible, I guess, like, God wiped out the Tower of Babel and then scattered all the nations upon the earth.
But okay, so let me get this straight though.
Yeah.
Didn't he do something with like? Wasn't one of his tactics to stop it? Didn't he make everybody speak different languages?
Yeah, that was another one. Yeah,
and that's where different languages came from.
but it's like,
Is that true, or am I
this
not
is the thing?
getting that right?
But do you? And I always look at it like this: like when we read the Bible, it's like he made them speak different languages and he scattered them. Does that mean that he literally made them all instantly speak different languages, or does that mean he's like basically scattered all the races like amongst the earth and made them not be able to like communicate with each other? Like, I don't know what it is. Is it literal? Is it more metaphorical? But like, that's what it says. Yeah.
Because I'm just wondering, because like it comes up a lot. Like I feel like the Tower of Babel comes up a lot in like the conspiracy world and everything like that.
Well,
and I just wondering why it comes up so much.
Let me tell you this. Do you know where is Babylon?
I don't know.
It's like modern day Iraq is where Babylon is, and many people say that the oral tradition of the Jewish faith was created in Babylonia, which is like modern day Iraq, and it was created several hundred years after.
Jim's got it.
He's got
it's got it up in Michigan,
Windsor, right here, Babylon Hair Studio. Yeah, but anyways, that same area.
Jim pulled this shit up. All fresh
like,
and
let
shit.
me look it up.
Yeah, I saw him do it. He like pulled it up, made it look good, and he like kind of strutted his shoulders. Like, there it is, Babylon. I'm looking at him like Lake St. Clair.
There's one of those out there.
This is Michigan.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, I did think I brought it up good.
But anyways, the Tower of Babylon.
Wait, was Tower of Babel and Babylon the same thing though? Was that in Babylon?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yes. But it's also where modern day Judaism was founded, in modern day Babylon.
Okay.
Now, is there a possibility that this is where humans started?
The Fertile Crescent, that's what they say. Yeah, like
right.
not just humans, but like when we became like civilized, like more like tribes and stuff.
Do you believe in evolution?
In terms of what? Do I believe that like... In terms of what? What does that mean?
I don't know. Me and Jim have gotten a debate on here, which I think we came to like somewhat of an agreement.
I mean, you can see it happening in front of you when...
Our debate?
Yeah.
Like, natural selection is evolution over time.
Watching a seed grow to a flower that's evolving. That's a thing that's evolving in real time. Watching.
I wouldn't put it that way.
I disagree.
I wouldn't say that. That's not what I meant. What I meant is like, okay, look at like a species that has had to like overcome something, and then they evolve in a way that after it's like.
Isn't that adaptation though?
Adaptation, but over time, right? Isn't that what evolution is, really?
Yeah,
it's like,
I don't know.
I think it's just a language difference.
I don't know if that is evolution. I think they're different things.
People
I could be
say
wrong.
like,
because
the argument of evolution that we came from a microbe, and the microbe just multiplied, and then it became bacteria, and then it multiplied and it became everything? Or does evolution mean it's like, do I think that I don't know, like a wolf has evolved to be able to run 40 miles without getting tired so it can capture its prey? How did that happen? Well, the strongest wolves that could run the longest, they were the only ones that survived. They were the only ones that reproduced, and over time they passed down those genes of being able to run 40 miles like without getting tired. Isn't that evolution?
Yeah, but isn't evolution a semen going into an egg, and the two things becoming one and then turning into something? Isn't that evolution too? Like,
adaptation is the ability to modify already existing characteristics within a living organism. Okay, evolution is the changing of one kind of living organism into another kind. Okay, so like,
So isn't a semen a living organism? So think about the semen in your balls, and it's a living organism that lives and does everything. It has a beginning and an end, but then it goes into an egg, which I guess would also be a living organism.
Yeah, but it's modifying already existing characteristics.
This sounds, what I'm describing sounds more like metamorphosis, which is like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. Like, how that actually makes more sense for that.
But even that, those are still one living organism modifying existing characteristics within the living organism, and the other one involves, I don't know.
It's an interesting topic because I don't think one way or another
My whole thing was always that, like, my whole thing is that there's not evidence. There's just not evidence between monkey and man. Like, there should be like, we should be finding like millions of graves of of things.
I think there's a lot of things that are hidden from us when it comes to that period of history and in regards to where everybody came from. I think there's a lot of archaeological things probably that would raise questions.
We've only found like 5 monkey mans.
Yeah.
On the planet. Like, I don't care what kind of catastrophe happened. Like, we should be finding more. If we can find 5, we should be finding way more.
Yeah.
Monkey mans.
But dude, I mean,
Lucy's.
That's if you're looking for them, though. That's the thing. If you're not looking for them, then they could be fucking anywhere.
But why wouldn't there be, like, if there was one Lucy, why wouldn't there be like an entire tribe next to this Lucy that we found?
Agreed.
It's one source of it. Yeah.
You know, like, what happened? Why is Lucy all alone in this desert by herself?
There's like a lot of mystery to that. I think the people that discovered that even thought that too.
Yeah, and so they made up theories.
So, have you ever heard also that in the Smithsonian there are like not just like one, but there used to be, or the Smithsonian has several, basically they're like mummies, but they're like 9 feet tall or like 10. They're like huge.
Giants.
Yeah, like they're giants basically. And like they're real humans.
Yeah.
And there is like archaeological evidence that, I'm not saying that there were like a lot of people that were like that, but
giants.
Yeah, they were giants.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird as hell? Like
Book of Enoch, Nephilism, all that shit. Like,
well, I heard that, but that was like,
we have giants.
That was like pre me seeing a picture of like one of these fucking things, like these mummies, dude.
But like, there's giants are a big thing in this world of like this mystery, right? And things that we might not be told about.
Yeah.
You know, and which is like the Book of Enoch, which, you know, scholars and stuff will be like, oh, the Book of Enoch and everything like that is fan fiction, is Bible scripture fan fiction, you know. And other people are saying like, no, like this was taken out of the Bible to hide this stuff because it's all about giants and Nephilism and everything like that. And but like it is crazy because like you think about like there are giants today, you know.
Yeah, there's a couple. But
look at that Waldo dude, that Waldo guy. Look up Waldo. He was like 8 feet tall. You know, Guinness Book of Ripley's, believe it or not, Guinness Book of World Records. Waldo dude, Waldo giant. I don't know what his name is.
He's like 7 foot something. I think I've seen.
He's like 8 foot something.
Holy shit.
He's 8 foot something, bro. Yeah. He's like 8'11".
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But people, I guess there's evidence of him having like the Masonic, or being a Freemason. Like he's got a Freemason ring and everything like that.
Wow. So wouldn't there be millions of those then?
No.
Why?
Because those are aliens, bro. Basically.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Honestly, I mean that's what the Book of Enoch is about. The Book of Enoch is about alien or demons coming down. Demons came down and mated with human women, and that offspring were giants. And it's part of the reason why God flooded the world was because they were roaming.
This is what happened. Like Lucifer, right, got expelled from heaven, and all those that were loyal to him, they got all expelled from heaven down to earth. And then, like Jake said, so they took human wives, and then
it can also be interpreted. People also interpret it like the Book of Enoch into aliens, like the Anunnaki,
Yeah.
You know, the Anunnaki are the demons,
Yes.
and they mated with
because that's
with
Sumerian
humans.
text, which is like older or whatever.
You know?
Right.
The thing that freaks me out though about all these theories, because I've heard them before, and there were times that I thought about them as if, like, I'd heard about the whole like Nephilim theory thing,
Yeah.
you know, and the Anunnaki, I'd heard of them as well, you know,
Mhm.
and the one thing that pulls me back down to here, Earth, with my feet on the ground, is that there are people literally practicing actual like worship of Lucifer, like Satanism here, with not like a mystical, like,
Yeah, but all that I'm not denying.
do you know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying
Like,
that Jesus and Christianity and Lucifer isn't real, but I'm just saying that it could also be a possibility that that could all be alien. You know, that could all be alien. That could be Anunnaki, and it's just interpreted from our perspective into a different story. You know, I mean, because like you look
Yes.
at Christianity, like the Egyptian, you look at Egyptian, like what would you call it?
gods,
Theology
like
or whatever.
Amon-Ra and
They're all
them,
like
yeah.
they all have Jesus. Like all
Similar
these religions
stories.
have similar stories. They all speak of great floods. They all have a
Yeah.
Jesus character and everything like that. They're just told differently, and so it could be interpretation.
But what I
Of
start to
something
wonder
big.
though is like, remember how on the other podcast we talked about like, it's like they're flooding us with all these ideas of these possible things that could be like going on, happening.
Yeah.
You know? And we have all these theories. It's like, how many different names for the same thing do we have? Illuminati, Deep State, the Cabal,
Yeah.
whatever you want. There's like we have all these like names for this thing that's out there. But then I look and like you had the Church of Satan website up there
Yeah.
like a minute ago, and there's an actual Church of Satan,
Yeah.
and the person who founded Church of Satan belonged to what group of people, you know? Like there's an actual group of people already like on, you know, on our plane, this physical plane, kind of like practicing this occult type of thing. And so then I start to wonder, like, are all these other theories just there to like confuse us from what the real group of people are actually practicing and doing, you know? That's what I wonder.
Yeah, but at the same time, that in itself, as strong as it can be, that in itself is a theory.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That thought process itself is nothing but a theory.
It is.
And, you know, you can't prove it any more than the guy
True.
who believes in Anunnaki or,
True.
you know, flat Earth or globe Earth. You know, like you can't.
It's
prove
not like
these
some
things.
ultimate theory that like ties everything together. It's just
Yeah.
like, for me, it hits closer to home because
Did you hear our episode when I talked about the internet being the Antichrist?
no, tell me about that.
I forgot it now.
Damn. Why? Do you believe that?
It kind of makes sense, like with what we're talking about right now. Like,
Yeah.
the idea is that, you know, people think like the mark of the beast is the vaccine and everything like that, because the scripture talks about it's on your hand, your right hand. It's on your right hand,
You won't be able to buy or sell.
or your forehead. You can't buy or sell without it, right? And so someone made the connection of like the internet is actually the mark of the beast, because, well, hold on, let me get there. Okay. It's you know, it's what's in our hands. Now.
Yeah.
Always, it's in our hand. Okay, we can't buy, sell without it anymore, or we're at least moving to that where we won't be able to. You know, like basically, like if you wanted to open up a toy store, would you open up a toy store or would you open up an online toy store?
Online store for sure.
Exactly.
It's like transhumanism.
So, and then you look at what is the number one product in everyone's hand. What would you say it is?
iPhone.
An iPhone. What's on the back of an iPhone? The Apple. With what?
The apple that Eve took
with the bite out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So And then so we take
what I
that
mean.
you
It's
take
like,
that theory
it's right
and we
there.
talk about how we got all this information confusing us,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Where does all this information confusing us coming from, right? It's coming from the internet. And we talked about in last episode that TikTok that dude made about where he looked up something on Google. He's like, does coffee make you go blind? And he was able to find 100 articles on why coffee makes you go blind, and then he did the opposite. Does coffee save you from being blind?
Yeah.
And he was able to find 100 articles saying that it does,
Yeah.
So it's like this confusion we're
What
talking
is
about.
truth? Yeah. What is truth?
Is this Tower of Babel shit? Like, are we being, supposedly God made everyone speak different languages in the Tower of Babel because, right, to confuse everybody, right, to like stop them so they couldn't communicate? Like, is this kind of like a version of that we're going through right now? It's like we, instead of language, it's just like information.
Yeah,
so like
and
we're
some
all
people-
confused now.
You know what I mean? What's funny to me?
I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just spitting.
What I just took from what you just said is because I mean, there's a lot of people who. Well, what I was gonna say is what I just took from it is how people now, it's like, even if you grew up together your whole life, if you're on the different side of the aisle ideologically, it's like you're speaking a different language now. Like when I talk to friends that we view differently, like it's not just politics, it's like culturally everything now. And kind of that makes me think what you just said, the Tower of Babel, how they were, it's like he made us basically not be able to understand each other.
Yes.
Create chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he do that as punishment? I don't know the story of Babel. I
So
tried looking
the
into it, and like
Bible-
I was really excited. Like I got interested in it, like super interested, and then every time I like go to like research it, I get bored.
There's this thing. So I've been, oh man,
I need like a animation
version
of it.
So you can see like an illustration. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know too much. I mean, and I'm definitely not saying that I'm like an expert, but I have read decent like amounts of the Old Testament, and one thing I will say is there's a lot of parts where in the Old Testament, God commands the Israelites, all right? He commands them to not worship any other gods, for example.
Yes.
And they always end up doing that. They end up either race mixing, going with other tribes that worship Moloch or whatever, or they just like would go into these tribes and then like take up their customs, right? And that's when in the Bible God would always like bring his wrath on the Israelites. And the Tower of Babel is a similar thing. Like he basically, commanded them to do certain thing, and then they basically went with all each other, and they thought, all right, we're gonna build our own tower up to heaven, and we're gonna just, combine all our cultures and do our own thing and make ourselves like tall enough to reach God, basically. And so that's why he, quote unquote, scattered them and made them speak different languages.
Okay.
But in the Bible, there's a lot of instances of that. Like, there's this part where there's a guy, Jacob, and then his brother, Esau. Okay. And the one brother, Jacob, ends up being the favorite because the other brother, Esau, he ends up taking wives that are of the Canaanites, like the devil worshiping people, right? So there's a lot of that happens in the Bible where like one person will like intermix with another person who's of a different group that's like sacrificing kids or doing all kinds of crazy shit like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like always, then God's wrath comes down on him. That's like a theme in the Bible.
Are you religious?
Yeah. I mean, I always was raised Catholic, you know, and
are you still Catholic?
I just consider myself Christian, meaning that I follow Jesus Christ, like the way that he lived his life. I try to at least, take lessons from it or try to be like a good man as much as I can,
Okay, so with that,
yeah.
do you feel that there's something coming?
Yeah, like for example,
biblically,
yeah, like I feel like
or is it just one of those things where like people have been saying that for forever that it's the second coming.
Some weird shit's been going on. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the Catholic Church and the Pope is totally like subverted. You know, the Christian churches.
What is your take on the Pope?
My take on the Pope is, again, goes back to the same thing. It's like he's
in a nutshell,
he's a Marxist. All right, he's a Marxist, and he was put in.
Is he a Satanist?
The mafia, yeah. I don't believe that he's
so. I think so.
I think he is too, dude. Like,
I mean, have you heard of like the Black Pope and everything
yeah,
like that?
I have heard of that. Yeah,
like that's the one that's really in charge. And
do you know there's like a prophecy, Saint Malachi's prophecy, where he like supposedly named every pope out until the last one, and this last one is the one we have right now.
Who?
Saint Malachi or something like that.
Look this guy up.
He had like a vision.
Like a long time ago?
A long time ago, okay? And the visions, like, look up Saint Malachi's prophecy, and it's about like he had this vision of all the popes, and he like even gets like detailed of their names. Malachi, and then type like prophecy. Or no E there.
Okay, so he had a vision of the popes.
All these popes, right?
Okay.
And he like names them, describes them, and then the last pope, this is like before the apocalypse, is the one we're on right now. And
For real?
Yeah, literally.
For real?
Yeah. Do I think...
You gotta type in prophecy.
I mean, it definitely seems weird. There's some end of the world shit constantly happening every other day. Doesn't it seem like to you too? I mean...
Prophecy of popes. That's probably it.
Yeah, that's it. What is the prophecy of Saint Malachi, that one?
Well, just go to the top one. It's going to tell you all the ones he prophesied, right?
Yeah.
Is this the one? Attributed by... Okay, so go down. It should give us a list.
Yeah, here's
the list. So just go down to the last one.
All the way down to the last one. It's literally the one we're on right now.
We don't know any of these people. I don't even know what the name of the Pope is right now.
It's Bergoglio. He's a former cardinal, and he's Pope Francis, and before him was Pope Benedict. So, like, we're literally on the last one.
Well, maybe not.
Per this prophecy, I'm saying.
Well, this one's saying Peter Romanus.
In the final persecution of the Roman early church, there will sit. Interesting.
Well, it's not on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, Wikipedia.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what it says exactly, but I'm pretty sure that I've heard something about this prophecy. And
did you hear this on Gab, Enzo?
No, this is from my childhood. I actually heard this. You know who told me this? Mr. Haley at Shelby Junior High, dude.
Oh, yeah? Just doxing motherfuckers.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, Mr. Haley told me this, dude. So, I don't know.
Twice.
My thoughts are, I'm religious, and I have my own personal beliefs, but it's also like.
So do you feel that something biblical could be coming soon, or that maybe we're in the middle of something biblical? Do you think the world is what it's ever been ever before in history? Like right now, like during this pandemic, like are we in a world defining moment in history?
It feels like we are, honestly,
right?
Because it
Does
feels
it
like
not?
yes,
and
it feels like
are
we're in the middle of a world war, honestly. Like if I had to say, like, we've been fighting this world war against China. Let's just call it what it is.
Normal's gone.
Normal's gone. We're not ever going back. And I don't know what's going to happen next. But the thing that's funny is sometimes I talk to people and they're just so confident that everything's going to be fine. They're so confident that everything's going to be normal and fine and nothing's ever going to shut down. And it's like when I talk to those people, I'm like,
as long as you get vaccinated.
Dude, no, not even just that. Like it could just be like, hey, they're having meat shortages or something, and then it's like you just start thinking about food, and it's like that'll never be a problem. Like you talk to people and they're just They don't even think that it'll ever be an issue. And it's like,
there can't be a food shortage. Yeah.
Everything we've seen in the last year has been the first. I mean, COVID, all this stuff. Do I think it can get worse? I mean, it's gotten bad in history, but I would like to live in a time where it's.
I mean, we talked about it before that nobody in Texas ever thought that their houses would freeze.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or that people would freeze to death in Texas. And it did. And it happened.
Man.
Right?
Yeah.
Overnight.
I'm not even thinking natural disasters.
I'm just saying. I don't think that was natural
to
begin with.
No, I don't think so either. I think we're headed towards, if I can just be frank, I think we're headed towards communism. And that's going to be just like a major globally defining shift. Yeah. Like we're just headed towards like a global form of communism.
Yeah.
And so the shift that's going to take place, that's going to have to happen so that we can move into that is going to be just like.
Now, is that tied to, is that us moving towards global communism, is that tied to Satanism?
I think it is, because I think that
hold that thought for 1 second, or actually continue that thought while I speak over it, because I don't think we're allowed to talk about what we're talking about. I don't even think the people that we're talking about will allow us to speak of what we're speaking of. So I'm going to take a second here and let everyone know about the YouTube channel. It's Secret Hideout Podcast. All the podcasts are going to be available on YouTube from 50 on. So this is episode 51. So we already got one up, episode 50. So check that out. And then make sure you go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all those podcast places and listen to 1 through 50. And at the end of every episode, we have a song or a little ditty of music that we've done. And at the end of this podcast especially, we're going to have a whole video. So make sure you go over to the YouTube channel and check out the video at the end of the podcast. It's a song called Mexico by 7 Birds, 1 Stone, a band that Jake and I started about 10 years ago. It was a really important, pivotal time in my life, of everyone's life that was involved in it. This song we recorded in Kalamazoo at a college, at some guy's apartment. But it was a really fun time, and I hope you enjoy the song. So just check it out here. Trying to fill 2 minutes of dead air with having nothing to talk about is actually kind of hard. And I've been struggling with it. This is not my first time doing this. I've probably done this about 15 times. But I hope you've enjoyed the episode so far, and I hope you stick around to the end and check out the video of Mexico by 7 Birds, 1 Stone. Appreciate you. Now back to some Satan talk.
But I want to know is it Satanism now?
So,
and do you think it's all, it's like, it is evil, right?
My first thought was this, dude. When you see a Satanist, it's going to be some dude with a fucking mohawk and tattoos on his face, and he's gonna be like, ah. But then you think about it in yourself, and you're like, okay, realistically, if it was like a Church of Satan, how would they conduct themselves?
Yeah.
How would they conduct themselves? They would conduct themselves in such a way that
it's like The Omen, like the movie The Omen.
Yes,
like
it's
the
different than
third,
what we would think.
like he grew, he's the Antichrist. Damien's the Antichrist, and he grows up. And what does he grow up to be? He grows up to be a politician,
businessman, right? Like
But
my point is, it's always this image we have this image of a Satanist as if they're this social pariah that we would notice if they were walking
Marilyn
down the street.
Manson.
Yeah, Marilyn Manson. But there are people out there who probably regularly practice this. They're probably just normal people that you wouldn't even know, And so it's like, I think because we're not involved, I mean, I don't know if you guys are, I'm not, but because we're not involved in it, it's like, of course, in our mind, what we would create is fucking Rob Zombie looking motherfucker, like,
yeah,
and that's probably not what it is. Like, it's probably literally, in my mind, it's not a person who would inspire you with great physical vigor and health and, someone that you would see and that you would think would be a Satanist. I don't know. So So is it that? Of course, that's a great question. I guess.
Well, in the Bible, a lot of the times, this could be controversial. I don't know, but they refer to, when they say the Jews, they say it's actually not the Jews. It's people that it's Satan disguising himself,
Like the Pharisees and stuff,
as these people. And that's where it's gotten so bad that people practice this religion openly and they don't even realize that they're practicing
a worship of something.
Yeah, and that goes into Catholicism there's all the religions.
Like Gnostics and stuff believe that Christianity is the worship of Satan.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my thing.
That your God, that the God that you pray to, in the God in your Bible is actually Satan or a form of Satan.
And I know that
tricking you.
Different religions believe different things. But what I'm trying to find out is, here's what I'm trying to find out. What does this religion say about it itself?
We lost the camera. That's why Jim was... It's all right. Keep going. Right.
Meaning, I want to know what they say about themselves, to their... to their followers, per se, versus...
Let's say Gnostics.
Gnostics, okay. Well, I want to know what they believe. Yeah. And the thing is this. Oops. Punch it, falls. Thing is this, coming from the whole Christian viewpoint, my entire life I would have thought the complete opposite, that basically that group of people was a very holy, reverent group of people. I would have thought that the exact opposite of that, because of what I've been taught by going to Catholic church, for example. But now that I'm older, wiser, and I can see things a little differently, I guess I can see that not all things are as they seem. And it's like Jim said, the average person doesn't even know any of this stuff. The average person doesn't know what their religious texts say, or what they're even most people don't know what the Pope's doing. I don't know what the Pope's doing, but I bet you he's probably worshiping
Satan. I don't even know his name.
It's Bergoglio.
I like that and I don't know what he's doing, but he's probably worshiping Satan.
He probably is, dude. I'm telling you. I mean, that guy, I've seen pictures of him sitting there watching
well, I mean,
women twerking and stuff like that. He's just a weirdo.
You've seen I don't know what it is, the church or something, the Vatican with the snake.
How it looks like the snake, yeah.
Snake, and then you look at the chair. There's some big statue behind the Pope's chair. It's supposed to be of Jesus, but it definitely looks more like
some weird stuff,
like
dude.
Lucifer.
Some weird stuff, man.
Just type in the Pope's chair.
The Pope's chair.
It's tough, man, because
there's go down, over
Game of Thrones
right there.
Yeah, that's fucking weird, dude. But is that was that always there, or is that
that's
just
something.
under
this current
Pope?
I don't know what that is, but
it's fucking demonic.
Where'd it go?
We lost it.
It's down to, you can
Papal
go down to the
throne
left,
right there,
all the way to the left.
Whoa.
You never seen this?
No.
No, me neither.
Oh, okay.
That's fucking wild. Huh, this is for
Go find
real?
it.
Yeah.
Go find it. It's on that page.
To me, though, it strikes me all as subversion. If I could just say one word that would define what is happening to us across every sector of our life, it's just the word
Put this
subversion.
on the screen for them. So I guess that's supposed to be.
Is this does he get a new
Jesus?
chair every year?
Dude, I don't know.
So let's say the Pope gets a new chair. This is what this guy picked out?
This is
No,
what I'm saying.
I think that's been there.
Has it been there?
Yeah.
we don't know what's going on, you know, like.
Yeah, it's wild.
But so many different things.
Looks like Aquaman coming out of some shit, though.
Yeah.
That's what I see. Something coming out of the water.
Our political institutions, our religious institutions, our cultural institutions, for the most part, have been subverted. They've either been undermined or they've been filled with people who are like in
commies,
basically Marxists, cultural Marxists.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now,
and the push for that is the strongest it's ever been in this country right now.
Yeah,
I mean, it's everywhere. It's elementary schools are indoctrinating our children with Marxist ideology, and Project Veritas is coming out with stuff. You know,
he was supposed to drop something yesterday.
He did. I sent it to you.
Yeah, I didn't
you just
see
didn't watch it.
No,
you just ignored me on it. It's really
I know.
He dropped the. Do you fuck with Project Veritas?
I mean, I've seen their ads, but I just feel like nothing ever happens. You know, it's like they drop something and then just like. It's one of those things
because
where
it can't,
I see
but it does happen
because
it opens eyes. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like this video he just dropped. Like it got, I mean, I don't know how many views it has now. When I checked it this morning, after like 6 hours, it was like 1.5 million views after 3 hours after he dropped it.
What was it about?
It was a whistleblower within a HHS hospital. She was like some type of nurse person. Someone in the medical field that worked for this hospital that was under direction of the HHS, and basically she filmed and whistle blew about how they were dealing with COVID and like the vaccines, and like how she showed all these doctors and nurses talking about like the vaccine being, you know, bullshit and everything, and the way we're treating is bullshit, and how like we're just killing people intentionally. So it's exposing a lot of shit within the. Well, that's what it was. It was all undercover stuff within the hospital, and so you're seeing video of these people that work in the hospitals being like, this is all crazy. Like, this everything's bullshit right now.
Yeah.
But yet we're being told, you know, we're being mass fed this idea that, you know, we know what's going on. We know what this virus is, and we know how to stop it. And it's with masks and lockdowns and vaccines, you know.
Yeah.
But the truth, this video, their whole special is about how that's not the case. They don't know what it is. The vaccine isn't working. The vaccine's hurting people and all this shit. So it's a big deal. And then he, like, within an hour of releasing it, YouTube not YouTube, but Facebook and Instagram banned it. So it can't be spread. You should fuck with James O'Keefe.
I mean, I see him he's on Gab.
And he's
on the front page of Gab.
The left will always try to point out that they'll say, oh, he's fake and he's a liar. And because he got into something like when he was like fucking like 18 or some shit.
Yeah, he got in trouble.
He got in trouble when he was like fucking like 18 or something, like 19 or just young, when he was fucking real young and starting out. But now, ever since then, though, any attack on him to call any attack calling him like a liar or the company a liar and stuff like that, he takes to court and he wins.
I mean,
I think he's got over like 300 redactions that were forced through court orders to be done through other, you know, media outlets trying to like defame him and everything like that. So
excuse me,
he's on point.
For me, though, it's hard to know at this point which person on the right is actually like a pro-America person and which person on the right is just kind of like a mouthpiece.
Well, it's not even about that for them. His whole thing is just pro-truth.
Pro-truth, fine. But,
you know,
I'm saying like...
And he wants to put it out there.
Yeah. I don't mind. I mean, I like it. I'm just saying that...
Like, you think, like, is he just doing it for clout? Or is he doing
It's hard to know, man. I mean, it's like every person out there, it's like they're on pro-America Team America, pro-truth, until all of a sudden, one day, they're just not anymore. And
do you ever see them like...
Okay, yeah.
Do you ever see those...
And then it's like, what
they get initiated.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden, they're just not. And then it's like, I thought you were cool. You know, what the hell?
I know what you're saying.
It's like it's for me like watching like all these Trump supporters and stuff like attend these parties that are like for the elite Trump supporters, and it's like it looks just like the left. Like you
Okay.
see like James O'Keefe go to like some sort of Trump themed party or something like that, or like Make America Great Again party, and they're all dressed up and doing the thing, taking pictures in front of the doing the exact same shit that the left does. So it's like to me, I'm just like seeing them kind of transform into that.
Yeah, but the difference there though is that they're like, hey, we're rich and we fucking deserve to be rich because we earned it.
We earned it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The left is like, being rich is bad.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna spend $30,000 on a plate.
Yeah, but we're rich too, is what it is, though.
What do you mean?
They're also just
But one's like upfront about it though. One's like, hey, we're fucking rich.
It's capitalism versus communism.
We fucking
That's bottom line.
we're doing it. Yeah.
You know, it's either like you're pro achievement.
One's trying to trick you into thinking
it's good to be poor and desolate.
It's good to be poor and desolate.
So that
we can stay going to these Met Galas.
And you can worship us.
And you can worship us and wear your mask.
Exactly.
Where the other one's like, fucking, hey, you want to get here? Fucking earn it.
Yeah.
You don't
you gotta earn it.
The devil taking over that, though, or like the evil, whatever we want to call it. Like, they're taking over that. So these people that are pro America and pro, get your money and stuff like that. But like, they're still like making them turn into icons that people are starting to worship, and it's like kind of still sliding in with that like that negativity just under the radar, making you think you're going the right way.
I see that, but it's different because they're literally just trying to push you into a fucking like wait. What were we saying earlier about peasants? Earlier, were you saying something about peasants?
Peasants?
Yeah, peasants. No, on the other podcast, were you saying it about hunting with the shot? You were talking about he was going to get a shotgun. Pheasants. But he kept calling them peasants, and you kept saying peasants. But that's what they're trying to turn us into, dude. Our fucking peasants.
Pheasants?
No, peasants.
What dark magic is this?
I think this fool just did a spell on me. I think you did.
No. I heard from the last podcast
taken over
you were talking about that
Satan
shit.
right there.
But yeah, that's what they're trying to literally turn us into. So it's like, of course, I'm going to be more combative towards that. You're trying to take away my freedom versus someone else who personally, they have an issue with greed. Like, they can be fine. They have their own personal issue with greed. Everybody has an issue. Let's not pretend here. But they're trying to literally make us into more of like a peasantry class. They're trying to eliminate the middle class and make us more like serfs or peasants is what I was saying. But so obviously, yeah, like I see that more as an evil because it's like subjugation, they're trying to subvert all our values, make us all, they want to reduce us all to the same level instead of having some of us be like a superstar and like skyrocketing to fame and having influence. It takes away from, like if you're looking at this from the standpoint of like China, the CCP has to be the biggest deal there. They can't have someone rising above the CCP. It's like, so they want us all to kind of like down. So that's why I'm more like against the whole like leftist ideology in general, because it's like,
where does Satan tie into China?
Well, I don't necessarily think that Satan has anything to do with China, but communism in general is outlying all religion and spirituality, and it's making the state essentially God. Okay, so that right there in itself is satanic. Like, what does the Bible tell us is like Antichrist? Okay, Antichrist is anybody who does not believe that in the Christ, that Jesus is Lord, right? So, for example, like, to deny that and say like no God, no spirituality, like the government, the CCP is God, to say that in itself right there is like kind of satanic. But I don't think that the CCP is some ultimate entity that we think it is. I think that there are people that we've talked about, famous last names that you've probably all heard, Rothschild, different things like that. That I think there are actors that are even above sort of the CCP. I think the CCP is just used as a tool, sort of how those people in the Matrix are plugged into those pods. It's like China in itself is a tool that is being used to be the world's essentially like their trade. You know, they produce everything, right? And everyone else like buys from them. They end up being this like super rich nation. They're gonna now take the center stage, and the U.S. is clearly, you know, going down right now.
Dude, how do we not, like, how are people not seeing it? How are we not seeing, like, how?
Because
like,
they're embracing it.
This, like, the fact that we're being ruled, you know, like, especially with this, like, the Met Gala that just happened, and then just recently the Emmys.
Well, I was going to ask you
like,
this.
you know, the fact that the Emmys and the Met Gala, like, we have these super rich people, celebrities that are partying in the same room in a city that has fucking mandates on masks and everything like that, and they don't have, none of them are wearing masks. Like, none of them are wearing masks, but everyone helping in both parties, the Met Gala and the Emmys, all the help all has mask on.
Yeah.
Why? Like, how are we not seeing that? How is that
peasants.
so?
If they had their way, we would still be in lockdown with still mandatory masks. You know what I mean? But, like, as peasants. But this is what I was going to ask you. We talked about Satanism. Is this what it means to be like in a trance? You know,
like under a spell?
Not me and you, but like
people that are like the people that tuned into the people that tuned into the Emmys and were like, "Oh, this is great."
Exactly.
Oh, I love that dress. Oh, that person's so funny.
Is that what
like a trance?
Is
that
spell. Like what a fucking trance is? You know,
a spell. Yeah.
Yeah.
A trance spell.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you ever get into the trance too? Like I've done it. It's like anytime I'm on like stupid YouTube or whatever, stupid. You know, I'm in that trance of like, ooh,
dude, I was in a trance.
Anytime you're watching a fucking Tom Hanks movie,
bro.
Yeah.
You know,
I was in a trance until 2016, until Donald Trump came in, and all of a sudden I started seeing like that they hated this guy so much. They just hated him so much. They would do anything to discredit him and his family.
It's so much that they hated it.
They overdid it.
They hated it so much that they blew the cover.
Exactly. And once that started happening, then I started looking into everything because I was like, this guy is the only one saying anything logical. He's the only one saying anything that makes any sense. And they're constantly hitting him on everything. It doesn't matter what good he does. They're just making him out to be this terrible person. And so I just started realizing, man, like I looked back and I thought, man, nowadays I don't believe anything I believed back then.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but you do believe in ghosts.
Yeah, I
Do you
guess.
believe in ghosts?
Yeah. I don't. Do you believe
ghosts?
like ghosts are? Do you believe that ghosts can interact with us?
Yes.
Okay.
In a sense. I don't know what a ghost would be though.
Like, you know what I mean? What it would look like? Or
No,
what
like
that
I just don't know
means?
like what it would be.
You've
in,
never
like,
had. You've
in
never
reality,
have you
in like
never had
the real
You've never been touched by a ghost.
in the real world, you know.
Have you ever
in
been
Zion?
have you been touched by a ghost?
No.
No.
Do you think it's like a spirit in the shape of like from a human spirit, or do you think it's more like just something that exists outside of what our vision can see?
I have no idea.
You know,
I think it's all of those. I think it's sometimes you can see it,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you can feel it. Sometimes you don't know what it is. The thing that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
Yeah.
That kind of deal. But I think some people out there actually do see it, and I think that's the interesting thing is if they see it, because then it's like, why aren't we? It's always the whole idea is like, why isn't there just a bunch of dead things then? But maybe that's what all those other things are that you're feeling around you is all the energy of all the dead. Like, why wouldn't there be one of, maybe it's because the Anunnaki didn't touch those creatures either too. So
Yeah, I
that's
don't
why
know.
there's only human ghosts. They're like human.
Is that what a ghost is though? You know, like that's what that's what makes me wonder. It's like, is the traditional gothic horror way that we think of a ghost what it is, because that's the best vision that we can collectively come up with? Or is it something else that like maybe we haven't considered? Like Alex Jones always talks about the elves. Have you ever heard of this concept? When they take DMT, they all see like the same thing. And Joe Rogan even talked about this, but or maybe he didn't, but Alex Jones did. But like they all take DMT or ayahuasca tea, and they like see all of them in this group see the same thing, and it's like these like, I don't know what they are. They're like elves, or like they just see these little like demonic things, and it's like it makes me wonder. You know, when we say ghost, is that just like our best way to try and explain this crazy fucking thing that is like
That's there.
Yeah, that's there.
An entity.
Yeah, an
like
entity.
a multi-dimensional entity or something
Yeah,
like that.
dude, we should pull that up, man.
That
That is a great episode of Joe Rogan. If
You want to just listen to it right now?
yeah, dude, listen to that shit right now. No. Have you ever seen that one though?
With Alex Jones.
The original Alex
Yeah.
Jones, Joe Rogan.
Are there
one?
Alex Jones on episodes anywhere? Are they not on Spotify?
They might be on YouTube still.
They're not on Spotify though.
No,
I don't know.
no, that's
That's like
tricky.
something I want to watch.
That's
or
tricky.
listen to.
That's the
You've
whole.
never seen that one?
No, I don't
dude.
listen to. I just started listening to Joe Rogan more, but like I'm really picky about the guests.
The Alex Jones one is the one that got me into Joe Rogan, and the one that got me into Alex Jones. And
How recent? Which one?
It was
because
like
there's been like 9
the
times.
first one that
right?
he really came on. I think it was 2018,
There's only
maybe.
been 4.
Yeah,
What?
I think there's only been 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
but he talks
Still
about human-animal hybrids
Yes.
and transhumanism,
Okay.
and it fucking blew my
And there's a show that
brain
Jim
wide
watched
open,
on.
dude.
There's a show on Netflix called Sweet Tooth or something. Or
Yes.
Sharp Tooth. Or,
About human-animal hybrids.
Human-animal hybrids.
Yeah.
How they've been already making them since like the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've talked about like clones and shit on the show about how like, you know, the first sheep clone was
Yeah.
Dolly the sheep in 1996. You know,
So and they cloned it.
and that's
Yeah.
you know
They told us.
they always say
That's
that
what they told us.
they don't release technology. If
Yeah.
they release something, they've been working on that for at least 20 years already. You know.
Yep, and countries like China don't have the same human rights sort of protocols that we have, expectations that we have in general. So you can just like extrapolate, like if our government's probably already doing all this stuff, but maybe they're not telling us. Like,
Yeah,
just
like-
think about what the
Like
fuck's
even
going on
gene
over there.
editing, like CRISPR and shit
Yes.
like that. And
He said, dude, he mentioned all that stuff. I looked it all up after that, and I was like,
I feel like Rogan
What
had
the-
him on another episode, and like they had to have like Jamie was like on his shit, like fact checking him, and all the shit he talks about is always true. Like
Yeah.
it's always fucking true. He is just a crazy character and a crazy spokesperson for it that like nobody believes him.
You kind of have to be that kind of person to be coming out with this like
Yeah, 100%.
shit, you know,
dude.
like,
Like he's like
you're in danger and like
Yeah.
you're constantly like your character is defamed and
yeah, it's funny how
shunned
he's
and-
taken on the comedian role more, seeing that like
he is a
comedians-
comedian
Yeah, comedians are always the ones that
because he's
telling the truth to everyone.
yeah,
You
know
I mean,
that-
all those late night.
he's that
people
one
now
comedian that died,
Those are
Bill Hicks.
Bill
who-
Hicks.
He
They
is Bill
talk. They
Hicks.
talk about that on Rogan
Yeah,
a little bit. He
Mm-hmm.
talks about. He's like, I'm Bill Hicks.
but that's a great episode,
Yes.
and that one really just totally blew my mind open as
Yeah.
well.
That's-
And
Yeah. But with that, we're going to wrap
Play
it up
that
here.
whole episode.
Yeah, we're
in
gonna play
its
that whole
entirety.
episode.
starting now.
Enzo, I want to thank you for coming back on.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
It was a good time,
Hell yeah.
getting deep, getting crazy. Jim, why don't you tell everyone where they can find that smoke at?
That smoke. Go to YouTube and check us out at Secret Hideout Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then share those videos because That's the fun part, is letting everyone listen. And check out the Instagram at Secret Hideout Podcast and Twitter at Secret Hideout 17.
Yep. And don't listen to a word we say because, like always, we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. And please, please, please do your own research. And we will catch you on the flip side.
Peace.
Later.
That's a wrap.
Awesome.
Ugh.
Thanks, guys. Maybe too.
I'm in love with the girl who ran away from here to Mexico. She's made of juice and gold. She doesn't even know. It smiles like the sun. It keeps me so hypnotized. She's got more future in her eyes than you do in your whole soul. Her tangerine hips twist like her licorice lips. She's got that mango kiss. Sweetness I've come to live. I'll see you in better weather. She said, don't worry, I will hurry. And if you get scared, just know that I'll be here, dear. When she ran away to Mexico, she left me blue. Oh, the things that I would do. I would even learn to speak Spanish just for you. Please come home. Oh, 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 please come home. Oh,